Hello, dear Judge Napolitano, Fox News, and Wethersfield parents. NBC Connecticut News attached me to fake emails with the principal, since proven principal child abuser. And they switched that medium where a number of answering machine messages and verbally and over the machine recorded and confessed rolls with other things. That I only said a couple of sentences over the phone too. They left out the confessions to me. I still haven't been responded to for years now, and all kinds of more confessions and people pretending things are also involved. And that's how it was. There were other natures of child abuse juxtaposed with that. There are people, for example, who attach me to fake conversations about police equipment. And as people associated with people like pension thieves and stuff like that, proven. Bookmakers, Shylocks, and people with their kids and family members who had roles with identity thefts and frauds instances on the campuses I went to with their family members, people associated with them, connected through time. So they have people approach people and make confessions like they can't go back and be honest about the context. These are recorded roles with courts that have been using locations remotely. Now there's a whole bunch of things tied to this because they want people to keep their mouth shut. They have the roles with guns and the police forms, Secret Service included, from Washington D.C. tied to like a Newington gun exchange all along that road from Church Street and Old Wethersfield, the corner of Church Street and Main Street, all the way along that road, on off Central Connecticut State University, and inter-departments. Recorded conscious uses of that involved, leading up to in the World Trade Center attack context. Same people that were involved intercities through time, furthering allusions into life progressions. People involved with this Dr. Leahy and Dr. Brendan Leahy and his son, and they have other women, I think older than him. There must be a grandmother there, or was a patient. Where they have patients and criminals, overt criminal enterprises. Involve fabricating audio and video, fake conversations with people on and off campuses and private database relationships simultaneously. And with the overt criminal enterprises, plural. These are sick people they force onto the, and they put people in fake locations. So when people get in verbal arguments, or there is aggression verbally, they're putting in fake words, attaching people to fake words with each other, then asking them about that, and then exploiting phenomenon and syntax. So captive function. That's how American history, that is so simple. You have grown men speaking in the news that for example, as evidence. I don't want to talk about that. That's not you guys. They have everyone using other people's information. This is a vertical and horizontal. This is a vertical and horizontal database relationship. So that's a serious thing. And they have pictures. In other words, they said the principal was involved with other digital too, is recorded. Like there's forensics locations that all have roles with the same house, with my town's police chief 1 year before. Associated with people reportedly intimately tied to him. His girlfriend reportedly. House that had a dog, crazy dog. Flap just run through the door. But these are people that are involved with all these bad things, and with the counters to them. And they have people with Sandy Hook and other prisons, and this whiting forensics, and people with the house locations next to the state judicial branch offices, next to the state forensics offices, all with people involved with the connected people I don't know at all, like Joshua Julian, on and off the roles when the principal was still there. They have the Facebook page stewards also involved with these people who made confessions of their roles with the Newington Gun Exchange, and with overt criminal enterprises, and judges who also fabricate things speak fake things into records with people because they've been hiding what's actually recorded, which originally instills them victim predators. So locations, areas, and states are forcing their criminal insidiousness natures of positive and negative in collusion as identity thefts and frauds against everyone, sickly distinctly. So even where it's most overt against color, it's disgusting. So they're using this is a method that is already was on campuses distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously, consciously, methodically, even the transitions of it, and then the places next to it, because this is fact-cheating nature oriented. These aren't just simple lies. The whole fake conversations. I never had a fake conversation. This guy, 3 times they forced me to Hartford Hospital. 2 times they totally made up stuff. In other words, because the first time, for like 3 days, I said, okay, I needed to tell my mother to call the police without telling her why. It was like 3 months after my father died. No, at Hartford Hospital. And with the same people involved with them. Now these are people also involved, again, with the corner. These are doctors that attach me to fake conversations. Well, there's Dr. Gilmore. I don't know if it's the same one. She has different husbands, reportedly, who's also Dr. Gilmore, who was my English teacher. But these are people also associated with the corner of Church Street and Main Street in Old Weathersfield through time, involved with campuses I went to, intercities, timed instances relative, and uses of that. They also recorded, confessed, demonstrated there's a pattern, there's something to do with the policing of the shopping centers, and like in Newington, and with the business office and military families, and with the KKK themes, and black and white judges involved with falsified police reports, various different departments switching names of officers, intercities too. These are a bunch of false police reports and falsified things. And as those people actually recorded, they'll tell you, if you ask them correctly, the people with the prisons, like Subby Bajario, they have, I don't know Subby Bajario, they influenced him when he was a kid to make an exception. And now he's mixed with people that I don't know at all, like as Joshua Julian. I know him from Facebook. He's also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed as one of the people along with the corner of Walcott Hill and Wells Road, which is on the way to Central Connecticut State University, on off Paul Manafort Drive, on off their uses of their knowledge, like they're in their uses of our identity here and there, nations A1 through Z, however many there are. We know that our countries are forced to use our names and identity that is not real. Patriotism, but pretending that. And see, that distinction is not made. They say, "Oh, we'd rather be there." That's what the people at the end of the whip wanted us to say, need us to say. That's where all the might and power comes for it. So, for example, Iraq, our human volume science. We don't have experts that could. So, especially for Iraq, the country, and especially for the people on the continent who disagree with the country, especially differentially, because that's what the Allah, per science, per the first part of the Quran, and per the first part of the Old Testament, and per what's replacing what they're about, and how they're getting away with it. For example, all theater speech, all self-valued sequence shifts roles. These are also people involved with proving post-dated documents had been post-dated from inside the Ninth Circuit Court, right next to the World Trade Center, right before the World Trade Center attack and leading up to it. And then that right before the World Trade Center attack, that's what had been presented to the panel of judges, post-dated documents. That later proven after led to a 2006 case, a district court case in Connecticut. There are police that recorded, confessed, and demonstrated they attached both the plaintiffs and the defendants to roles with the officers forging and switching names on off the campuses, and predicate acts on the campuses that are also connected off the campuses in interbranch. These are ones with the black and white female judges and military family police families on off Central Connecticut State University and child campuses, as the names involved too, with people that went to my grammar school. I never went in my grade, but not even in my class. We had different teachers. And people in my class, I never had conversations with. They've been pretending other, because of what they used the mayor's kids for. I'm not going to use their names. I used it before. And there's more. And so these are how they're victim predators. They also have their motivations. So when the sequence shifts too are relevant. I have to use their names because their roles with the falsified peace reports since I was a kid, and they don't put anything in writing. And what they say, it confesses other things, but they force a quality of fact treatment, nature, time treatments, and themselves lying and pretending not. It's obvious. And if you say that, pretend it's conflict, because they're already lying about everything. They're even replacing audio and video with fabricated audio and video transcripts and descriptions of it. Now that corruption was originally and still used as only capable of being that, and needing to pretend that they have all the sciences distinctly, not individually grouped and together, maintained, involved with what is actually recorded, also with the names involved with a public school, other school that closed, and the locations next to the schools with names involved. They had a community meeting about me, were they involved with these wire crimes, email crimes, and with the doctor's notes. So these are multi-front, various natures of campuses in collusion with wire crime acts and methods too, that are also juxtaposed natures of child abuses. And how they have it sexual is also involved with the courts that are involved with the uses of my name and other kids' names after they had them. This is a pattern of people that I only know because they sought me out lying, and where they're trying to pretend to look for responses or whatever. That's fake. There are means to demonstrate that recorded. These are people involved with the counters to things like that. Even the families involved with the DCF investigators leading up to the World Trade Center and in it, involved with the uses of the personally, making confessions, personally, and then uses of it with, like on the Ray Hernandez and a whole bunch of people from Wethersfield. He didn't know. In other words, everyone's communicating with everyone else is. But on off the Town Line Drive, for example, in the shopping center there, and the different, it's nothing personal against Stop and Shop. It was when it was Food Mart there. It was nothing against Food Mart. I love Stop and Shop, Food Mart, even if they do anything, I'm saying it's the police forms. These are the ones involved with attaching. They forced deans, a Dean Alford or someone pretending to be him, involved with it. It looks just like Attorney Chevalier, who's there. They have attorneys. They have a Trantolo, and Trantolo also pretended I said the word government. See, these are people preventing people from speaking about acts, and with sequence true, and preventing people from speaking about identity true, and so increasingly they're valuing insidious natures of positive treatments and of negative treatments, and as time treatments and qualities of fact treatment nature treatments that can't counter the criminal insidiousness we have to counter as countries A1 through Z, however many there are, individually grouped and together. We have to admit and address how we were forced to use our names. This is a syntax-oriented quality of fact treatment nature. Since before cars, the pathology of the, the infrastructure, so to speak, and means to it. Everything was tactically denatured to cause negative value nature progressions, action natures, not just to force Native Americans to retreat, not just to force them tactically separated from the ancient revelations and what is actually most probable that was their history, but sickly distinctly too. Not just to divide and conquer, to keep everyone from using the species volume science, why we are individual grouped and together, why the predicate is value with the subject to English, as English, why the predicate act is value / value progression, increasing value, both of them, to the law. A predicate act is value / value progression to the law. A predicate is value / value progression to English grammar, because the sciences share an identity. Science reveals this. See, but we have the sciences offensively with theories, intersciences, and then defenses of that individually grouped and together are styles of premises treatments, of sequence treatments, of names treatments, positive and negative treatments, locations, identities treatments that can't defend themselves and us from what used that remotely originally instill. Originally, the identity thefts and frauds against our founding parents, tortures against them, involved them forced to entertain such theater because all locations, areas, and states as colonies that had already been roles, names, all that, identities of the ground too, locations, value progression that couldn't defend themselves, because as science, and afford someone to use premises treatments and sequence treatments and care actually proper. See, but they have those people. No one explains boxing properly either. There are proofs that boxing, wrestling, there are proofs that is more practical, rather, that to convict that boxing, wrestling, and martial arts. But boxing, martial arts, and wrestling were revealed by the ancients in relative to them understanding the value / value progression that criminal insidiousness is, that criminally foreign influence locations, areas, and states are. That's why it is increasingly critical that we address how it was self-valued roles with all locations, areas, and states criminally foreign influenced. Identity thefts and frauds method roles, including against the ground. All gathered around. They know, but now filtered. So they play. There's a wire crime methods tied to the people in the background stacking fake words and replacing audio and video, actual fabricated audio and video.
Hello.
So please make sure that they respond to me, Weathersfield Police, too, in my Facebook page too, because they have the roles with people with pretending to be me on Facebook too, etc. So limit the damages and to have them say sorry to Weathersfield parents, and have the news media fix those stories too, and then give my real voice, because the WFSB attached me to fake words too.